his dedication for public service. He showed us his unwavering commitment to work during the peak of COVID-19 pandemic. While there was confusion and uncertainties that time, Senator Zubiri, together with the members of the 18th Congress, worked our ways with blood, sweat, and perhaps tears. So our executive department will be equipped to effectively combat the detrimental effects of the pandemic, all in a day's work of an enthusiastic senator such as Senator Zubiri. There will be debates and disagreements among us colleagues, like every Congress should. Every senator in this chamber has his or her own view and belief, but I certainly know that the leadership of Senator Zubiri will bind us all together in carrying out our duties and responsibilities as trabajadores of our people. Mr. President, as a Mindanaoan, it is with great honor and pride to second the nomination of our trabajador sa Senado, my fellow Mindanaoan, Senator Miguel Zubiri, as Senate President. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator De La Rosa, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, at this juncture, may I ask that Senator Joseph Victor Ejercito, our comebacking seatmate, be recognized for the nomination.
The other gentleman from San Juan, Senator J.V. Ejercito. Let it be put on record that Senator Jinggoy mentioned him as the good one. They're both good ones, Mr. President. We recognize Senator J.V. Ejercito for his nomination.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we begin the 19th Congress, we find the country facing difficult challenges. We're still grappling with the COVID-19 pandemic as daily cases continue to rise. Prices have skyrocketed because of forces beyond our control. Political divisions still haunt us, as evidenced by the horrific shooting at the Ateneo yesterday. Globally, the war in Ukraine, the skirmishes between China and the U.S. in our region, and the territorial disputes among Asian countries continue to create uncertainties for our future as a country. The Senate has historically been the bastion of democracy in our history. Those revered statesmen and stateswomen that have come before us led the country in facing their own challenges. Their patriotism and bravery have made the Senate what it is today. They've won their battles. This is our battle. This is our time. And as we go to battle, I am comforted by the fact that the Senate of the 19th Congress is composed of 24 men and women whose love of country cannot be doubted. I am comforted by the fact that we will be led by the man I am so honored and privileged to nominate as Senate President. Senator Zubiri has been a big part of the Senate stands for now, a competent, compassionate institution that is always ready to serve the Filipino people in times of peace or crisis. Senator Miggs was Majority Leader in 3 Congresses, the 18th, the 17th, and the 14th Congress, which made him the youngest elected Senate Majority Leader since 1946. This demonstrates not just Senator Miggs' knowledge of the Senate history and its rules, but his strong leadership, his charisma, and his self-assured temperament that is so critical in leading an institution like the Senate. Senator Miggs is an honorable man who once gave up his place in the Senate in order to defend this institution and protect his loved ones. He is a dedicated and committed public servant who has recorded complete attendance in his 20 years in public service and passed meaningful laws that benefit our people. On a personal note, Mr. President, I would like to thank Senator Miggs Zubiri because we have been together in 2 national elections in 2013, although we were not together as a team in 2019. I know for a fact that he was one of the happiest persons that I made it to the Senate. Kami po ay maganda ang samahan. We had a very good chemistry pag magkasama kami. Ako po yung kape, siya po yung coffee mate. Kapit gatas. And as a principal, on a personal note also, Mr. President, as the principal sponsor of the Universal Healthcare Law and the creation of the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, when he was Majority Leader, he was the one pushing me. Lagi niya sinasabi sa akin, James, tara na, ikalendar na natin yan para maipasa na natin. Kailangan natin maipasa. Those are 2 landmark legislations. He really pushed me. Thank you, bro, for really pushing me and being able to pass these 2 landmark legislations. It is because of you who really made sure that these laws will be taken up in the floor. Senator Mix possesses the kind of leadership that we need: strong but not tyrannical, kind but not naive, cooperative but not subservient, humble, vigilant, and gallant. He is a loyal friend and ally, a pillar of the seatmate bloc of the Senate, who is always ready and willing to impart his knowledge and support to his colleagues. He is a family man, a loving husband, and protective father to his children. I know that there is no better person for the job than Senator Mix. It is therefore a privilege to nominate Senator Juan Miguel Mix Zubiri for the position of Senate President of this honorable chamber.
Thank you, Senator JV. Welcome back. We hope brotherly love will prevail in the next 3 years. Majority Leader?
Yes, Mr. President, at this juncture, with the consent of the body, there are no other nominations. I therefore move that we close the period of nomination and proceed to elect by acclamation Senator Juan Miguel F. Zubiri as President of the Senate.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved. Congratulations to Senate President Juan Miguel Fernandez Zubiri. Before we have the
Yes,
administering
Mr.
of the oath, I believe
Yes, Mr.
our
President.
former Majority Leader, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, wishes to make a manifestation.
Mr. President, I'd just like to ask that the record reflect that I did not participate in the voting to remain an independent, nor will I participate in the selection of the minority leader, but may I reserve the right and privilege to say good things about our so very good Senate President elect. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. The manifestation is noted. I see 2 members of the Senate raising their hand, so I will recognize our 3
Senator
ladies.
Pia, Mr.
Yes,
President,
I'm sorry, I did not see Senator Risa. So first, we have the lady from, just distinguished lady from Taguig, Senator Pia Cayetano.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Let me congratulate our newly elected Senate President. May the record show that I also did not cast my vote in favor of my esteemed colleague. At this point, I would like to remain independent. I will also not participate or cast my vote in favor of any minority leader. But as I have told the Senate President, he knows that my commitment for the amazing work that this Senate will produce. He has my commitment that I will participate and ensure that nothing less than excellent work will come out of this Senate. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Pia.
Mr. President.
So the Senate President's charm did not work on you. Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, may we recognize the gentleman from Cagayan de Oro, Senator Coco Pimentel?
Certainly, the bar top notcher, the brilliant lawyer from Cagayan de Oro, Senator Aquilino Coco Pimentel is recognized.
Thank you, sir. Now that you have elected our Senate President, I'd like to manifest that I abstained from the election of the Senate President. But nonetheless, let me congratulate my silingan, kababayan from Region 10, our leader from Mindanao. So congratulations, sir, and we are all here to help this Senate succeed in this 19th Congress. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Pimentel. So the chamber will be dominated by Region 10, maybe? Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, may we also recognize and acknowledge recognize the distinguished lady from Macbayan, Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Yes, the distinguished lady from Akbayan Party List and province of the island of Panay is recognized.
Salamat, Mr. President. Mabuhi, SP Migs. Together with Senator Pimentel, I also make of record that I abstained on the vote on the Senate presidency, and I'm glad that it will be on record that SP Migs was uncontested. Mabuhay.
Thank you, Majority Leader.
Mr. President, may I ask for 1 minute suspension for the oath-taking of our Senate President?
Session is hereby suspended. We ask Senator Lauren Legarda to join us to administer the oath to the Senate President, as well as the family of Senate President Zubiri to join here at the rostrum for his oath-taking as Senate President. And may we ask the members of the Senate and our guests to please rise for the Senate President's oath-taking.
You can stay here, ma'am. You can stay here. No, Audrey, dito ka na. Okay, there. You stay there. Where are my kids? Santi.
Okay, hi Vicky. Okay.
Wait. Okay.
It is my honor to administer the oath before Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri. Please raise your right hand. I,
Juan Miguel F. Zubiri,
having been elected,
as President of the Senate,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
the duties of my present position
the duties of my present position
and of all others
and of all others
I may hereafter hold
that I may hereafter hold
under the Republic of the Philippines.
under the Republic of the Philippines,
That I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the Philippines.
the Constitution of the Philippines.
That I will obey the laws
I will obey the laws
and legal orders
and decrees
promulgated by the duly constituted authorities
promulgated by the duly constituted authorities
and maintain true faith and allegiance
and maintain true faith and allegiance
to the Republic of the Philippines.
to the Republic of the Philippines.
And that I impose this obligation
And that I impose this obligation
upon myself voluntarily without mental reservation
voluntarily without mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations, Senate President Zubiri. We'll now turn over the rostrum to the Senate President.
Mr. President, to give time for picture taking with the new Senate President, maybe suspend the session for a minute. Oh, that's okay. We can continue.
Okay.
We'll continue. Yeah, we can do this. Oh, would you want to? Okay, suspend. I move to suspend, Mr. President. Majority Leader. Thank you, Mr. President. Congratulations. Mr. President, we are ready to hear the address of the President of the Senate. Thank you. Thank you very much. My dear colleagues, friends, guests, most especially I'd like to welcome the members of the Diplomatic Corps that are here today, headed by His Excellency the Papal Nuncio, Most Reverend Charles John Brown, and all the other ambassadors, our dear colleagues, and of course our former colleagues of the Senate.
to my family and friends, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. To my colleagues, thank you for the trust. I shall repay that honor with hard work as your trabahador ng Senado. To my family, my wife, Audrey, who's always been supportive of me 1,000%. To my children, Adriana, Juan, me, and Santi. To my mother and father, Mommy Vicky and Daddy Joe, I pledge that nothing I do will stain the memory of our ancestors or sour your love for me. It is with humility that I accept this position. I do so conscious of the burden it carries and committed to the work it entails. As presiding officer, I may wield the gavel, but not the power of this institution. That power is shared by us all, by every one of you, and more so our main responsibility of responding to the needs of the people and respecting their will. I say this, my friends, because you and I know that never has the fate of the Senate been dependent on the hands of only one man. It has always rested on the collective shoulders of all its members. The Senate has been described as one of the main engines of the ship of state, all of its 24 cylinders firing, unleashing the energy that propels our nation forward. However, this Senate does not merely row, it also steers the ship so it will not run into shoals or storms. It is the reason why we have to keep watch, always. But every new Senate's course is chartered by the challenges under which it operates. Every new Senate job description is written by the crisis it must confront. And ours is dictated by multiple crises before us: food, fuel, fiscal, and the fading faith of our people in our institutions, just to name a few. On top of this is the COVID pandemic, which, courtesy of a mutating virus, will continue to disrupt lives and choke the economy before it can breathe its very last. But what it cannot suffocate is the fighting spirit of a people whose virtues of hard work, solidarity, compassion are greater than the virus at its vilest. This Senate will meet these big problems with bold thinking and brave legislation, but most especially, and I'm looking forward to this, bipartisanship. In this Senate workshop of great ideas, laws will be forged, and from which oversight of those who implement or ignore the laws will also be conducted. And speaking of oversight, we will exercise it not because we want to encroach on the executive branch or emasculate it of its powers. We do so in order to help government, the presidency even, remedy deficiencies in the delivery of public services and recalibrate ineffective policies. This Senate, under my leadership, however, will be one to solve problems more than it would find faults. While probes are magnets for publicity, and I learned this from the father of Sani Angara, Senator Ed Angara, it is the policies, laws patiently written line by line away from the limelight that drives progress. But for us to do our role, we must uphold the Senate's proud tradition of being independent. And that is important because the Senate's independence is a linchpin of its two other hallmarks: industry and innovation. Generations of our predecessors, whose names are etched on the wall leading to this hall, have exercised this to the benefit of our people. The Senate, therefore, is not an office of 24 receiving clerks for executive proposals. We will improve what has been proposed to us as we initiate our own. We do so not because we are rivals of power or for the other branch, but because we are partners for progress. We do so not to compete for influence, but to cooperate for the ways and means on how to bring the nation forward. This stance, practiced by all the Senates which had sat before us, has been the proven formula on how this chamber has been able to uphold the interests of the Republic and promote the welfare of our people. Our vigilance has purged proposed laws of provisions that harm the people. Our insight, on the other hand, have maximized the gains of our people will reap from laws. When bills are unnecessarily complicated, we inject it with common sense. When bills attempt to overreach, we shield the vulnerable. And when proposed tax rates are higher than what is reasonable, we make them fair or we make them go away. When the suggested spending borders on the frivolous, we remind them to be frugal. And when problems remain unattended, we come up with solutions. Not even the COVID-19 pandemic prevented the Senate before us from making emergency bills like Bayanihan 1 and Bayanihan 2 evolve into superior pieces of legislation despite having to conduct business remotely because every man and woman in this chamber rose to that occasion. Today, my dear colleagues, we will troop to the Batasan to hear President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. perform his constitutional duty of telling us the state of the nation. For sure, he will be asking Congress to support initiatives that will address the people's clamor for jobs, bring down prices of basic goods, affordable food, humane transport, among other relief measures. And when he enumerates them, my dear friends, let us view them in the proper context, that this is not a presidential wish list he crafted on his own, but a president articulating what the people want. So let us respond to what the people want urgently. And let us do it through the time-honored fashion by which the Senate has acted upon during times of crisis, by harnessing the best ideas from our brightest can offer. So the cures will not just bring temporary relief, but also permanently release our people from what ails them. Acting on this urgent request, I will also allow us to redeem the campaign promises and pledges that we have made. This will be the first down payment of what we owe the people for the mandate they have gifted us with. So let us come up with bills that deliver a big payload of solutions to the big problems of the land, what the people truly want, that will improve their lives, and not just pogi points for the Senate. Laws that will bring social good, not just social media hits. Jobs created, hunger reduced, inflation slashed, GNP growth, houses built, higher school test scores, and middle class expanded are the metrics that should gauge our performance instead of likes, shares, and views. Legislation must not lag behind the social, economic, and technological curve, my dear colleagues. It also must be ahead of what the people want. This requires scrutinizing the budget so that the tax payments will be spent on things that will go or do greater good, rather, than to those, or to do greater good to those who pay them. If there's one mission that should animate the Senate of the 19th Congress, it is an overriding theme. Then it must be a Senate of national reconstruction. But the recovery that we should work for together is not merely returning to where we were once before. It is catapulting ourselves to a better place than the past. And as we buckle down to work, let me issue some invitations. To the public, let me assure you that this is not only a multitasking Senate, it is also a crowdsourcing one. We value your ideas because this upper chamber will never be an echo chamber. To my fellow Senate workers, to the men and women of the Secretariat, in these trying times when so many expect so much from so few of us, the people expect no less than your hard work and professionalism. To my dear, dear colleagues in the majority, I remain with you in the trenches. I see no perks in this position. I temporarily hold this position through your grace, except the duty to work even harder. To my friends in the minority, I was once a loyal soldier of the opposition. And if there's one lesson I've carried with me ever since, it is that the strength of an idea is what makes it right, and not the sheer number of its believers. Let us debate and embrace ideas without regard from where they came from. My dear colleagues, my leadership will be one of consultation. Our output will be through consensus building. And if former Senate President Tito Sen was a father figure to all of us, then allow me to be your brother that will walk with you during these challenging times. Yes, my dear friends, no Senate in the past faced challenges as demanding and daunting as this one before us. But with hard work and dedication, we will deliver for the people. We shall help them overcome. The war against the pandemic is not yet over. The battle in many fronts is about to get worse. There is a future to be won. Let us go to our battle stations and fight to uplift our people's lives and make our nation even greater than before. Mabuhay ang Senado at mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Maraming salamat po.
Mr.
Majority
President.
Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, congratulations. At this juncture, Mr. President, I move that we proceed with the election of the Senate President pro tempore.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved. We will now proceed with the election of the Senate President pro tempore.
Mr. President, may I ask that Senator Sani Angara be recognized for the nomination?
Senator Angara is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader. Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct honor to nominate a Senate President pro tempore of the 19th Congress of the Republic of the Philippines, one of the most respected and well-loved lawmakers of the land, Senator Loren Legarda. Senator Legarda has earned for herself a long list of achievements as a legislator and policy advocate, all cementing her legacy as a champion of our collective cause for the Filipino nation. As a senator for 18 years and a congresswoman for 3 years, Senator Legarda authored numerous laws that shaped the policy landscape in the country for the environment, climate action, disaster risk reduction, sustainable development, cultural heritage preservation, and indigenous peoples' rights, among many others. She is a pioneer. She was the youngest senator when she began her first term in 1998 in this chamber. She was the only woman to have topped the senatorial election twice. She was the only woman to have served as Senate Majority Floor Leader at the young age of 41. She was both a TOWNS, or 10 Outstanding Women in the Nation, and TOYM, 10 Outstanding Young Man Awardee, in her early 30s. And during her leadership of the Senate Committee on Finance, I had the pleasure of serving as one of her vice chairpersons. She ensured the mainstreaming of climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction measures in the annual budget of government agencies. Climate and sustainability have been lifelong advocacies for Senator Legarda, and over the years, her vigorous and relentless environmental campaigns and climate policy leadership have been recognized internationally. From the United Nations to the IMF World Bank, from Sendai to Paris to Bonn, hers has been a well-respected and highly sought-out voice at the most senior levels of international climate diplomacy, consensus building, and decision-making. On top of her legislative duties, she has worked as a UNDRR Global Champion for Resilience, a UNFCCC National Adaptation Plan Champion, and a Commissioner of the Global Commission on Adaptation. She was recognized as a Global Leader for Tomorrow by the World Economic Forum and a UNEP laureate, and was chosen as one of the Global Parliamentarian Champions of the Climate Vulnerable Forum. Alongside these advocacies, Mr. President, Senator Legarda has also vigorously championed our rich Filipino heritage and has worked to promote cultural resilience and the rights of our indigenous people. Through her efforts, the Philippines returned to the Venice Biennale in 2015 after a hiatus of more than 5 decades, opening yet another opportunity for our people to showcase our identity, our heritage, and our history to the rest of the world. In recognition of her exceptional contributions here and abroad, Senator Legarda has been bestowed the title Knight in the French National Order of the Legion of Honor, Knight in the Order of Merit of the Italian Republic, and the Award of Distinction by the European Union, or EU. She has brought nothing but pride to the nation. So voluminous are her achievements that many seem to forget that prior to entering public service, Senator Legarda first came into national consciousness as a broadcast journalist, Some of us remember her as an anchor in The World Tonight next to Angelo Castro Jr. and as host of The Inside Story, a current affairs program. She earned many accolades for her journalism, including a KBP Golden Dove Award and a Benigno Aquino Award for Journalism in 1995, among more than 30 awards. Mr. President, colleagues, for many of us in the Senate, Senator Legarda has acted as both an anchor and a vanguard. But for many of those close to her, she is our Tita Ganda. She kept us steady amid turbulence, rallied us through tough times, and led the country toward a more climate-resilient and sustainable future. I am confident under your leadership, Mr. President, and with Senator Legarda backing you up as our President pro tempore, the Senate is bound to achieve more and to reach new heights, to ultimately serve for the benefit of Filipinos everywhere at all times. It is thus my honor and privilege to nominate Senator Lorna Regina Lauren Bautista Legarda as our Senate President pro tempore. Thank you, dear colleagues. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Senator Angara. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I ask that Senator Nancy Binay be recognized for the nomination, Mr. President.
Senator Binay is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have the privilege of nominating Senator Lauren Legarda as the Senate President pro tempore of the 19th Congress. As we all know, Senator Lauren's mantra to take care of our people has always been non-negotiable, to assure them of essential services and to take it as an article of faith to always see beyond what they need. A seasoned and respected lawmaker for more than 2 decades, she has relentlessly practiced public service, a truly dedicated public servant. The Senate is a witness to the long list of legislative measures she has championed, pursued, and advocated for. She has addressed the needs of our marginalized and vulnerable populations and has caused the meaningful inclusion of women in the public sphere, supported programs upholding our culture and traditions, and advocated for micro-entrepreneurs who have been the silent heroes of our local economy. It can be said that she is the master weaver of the culture of resilience, not only in the country, but also globally. Mahal na Pangulo, mga kapwa senador, sa kanyang ika-4 na termino bilang senador, minumungkahi ko po ang paghirang kay Senadora Lorna Regina Lauren Legarda bilang Pangulong pro tempore ng Senado ng Pilipinas. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much. Ma'am Nancy, Majority Leader.
Mr. President, may I ask that Senator Grace Poe be recognized for the nomination?
Senator Grace Poe is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is my honor and privilege to nominate the most senior member in tenure serving this Congress, not in age, but perhaps in experience and longevity, Senator Lauren B. Legarda as the Senate President pro tempore of the 19th Congress, a legislator since 1998 and having served both in the Senate of the Philippines and the House of Representatives, it is an understatement to say that Senator Legarda is an authority in legislation. Personally, I am a witness to Senator Lauren's work as she was one of the standing senators when I was first elected to the Senate in 2013, and she was very kind to me and served as a mentor. She championed for measures on the environment, climate change, adaptation, disaster risk reduction and management, sustainability, and climate justice. Likewise, she has vigorously backed legislation on an array of subject matter in the arts and culture, education, employment, and entrepreneurship. More importantly, this lady senator was instrumental in the passage of several important pieces of legislation, such as Republic Act No. 9501, or the Magna Carta for Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises, Republic Act 8759, or the Public Employment Service Office Act, Republic Act 9509, or the Barangay Livelihood and Skills Training Act, and Republic Act number 9231, a measure that outlawed child labor, among other laws. In addition to this, she became the chairperson of the Committee on Finance in the 17th Congress. During her term, she fiercely led the committee and ensured transparency and proper and judicious allocation of funds. Senator Legarda is a kind and compassionate public servant, yet she remains to be strong and no-nonsense in accomplishing her task. She truly gets things done. To this, I'm certain that she will be able to pass more laws that will benefit our kababayans. And on a personal note, what truly binds Senator Legarda and I is 2004. She was the embattled running mate of FPJ, and Senator Legarda has proven her strength of spirit. As she has written as the consistent top lady senator in the polls, it is my honor to be working with her again. Now in her fourth term, I have the privilege to nominate our esteemed colleague from Antique, Senator Lauren Legarda, for the position of Senate President pro tempore. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Grace. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, move that we recognize Senator Bato de la Rosa for his nomination, Mr. President.
Senator Bato, Ronald Bato de la Rosa is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, it is with a profound sense of honor that I stand to make this nomination. Senator Lauren Legarda is known to be the lady who leads, and I, for obvious reasons, cannot help but agree. Since it is not every day that I get to speak about inspiring figures who need no introduction, I will gladly tell this august body and the rest of the world about Senator Lauren Legarda. Because she hails from a family of public servants, it should come as no surprise that Senator Lauren decided to take the same path for herself. She is a fourth-term senator, which means that among all of us in this chamber, she is certainly the most senior. Most senior at hindi lang dahil sa tagal niya sa Senado, Mr. President, kundi dahil sa dami at kalidad ng mga batas na kanyang naipasa. She has been consistent in promoting livelihood, advocating for the development of cultural villages, and pushing for the protection of indigenous people's rights. The cultural communities in Mindanao have adopted her as a bay matumpis, which translates to the one who takes care. There are countless other things and qualities that one can say about Senator Lauren, but I would like to stop there, Mr. President, with the fact that she has also earned the title of being the one who cares. Pairing that up with the lady who leads, we get the picture of the kind of leadership we can look forward to with Senator Lauren Legarda as our Senate President pro tempore. She is the lady who leads not just with vision and with determination, but more importantly, with care. As early as this first day of the first regular session of the 19th Congress, I can already say that it is and will always be an honor to submit to the leadership of this lady. Mr. President, I respectfully nominate Senator Lauren Legarda for the position of Senate President pro tempore.
Thank you very much, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa.
Mr. President, with the consent of the body, there being no other nominations, I move that the period of nomination be closed and that we elect Senator Lauren Legarda as President pro tempore of the Senate. So move, Mr. President.
Before I act on that motion, Mr. Majority Leader, on a personal note, I would like to also say as well that Senator Legarda is probably the only member of the Senate now who has come from the 11th Congress. And that makes her senior in terms of wisdom, not because of age, but because of wisdom and experience. But also on a personal note, I actually enjoy her company every night. Not because we see each other every night. It's because after I watch the news, I always watch her show Dayaw at late evenings, and I always get to enjoy that beautiful show of culture and the arts, and we thank her for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, my dear colleagues, there being no objection to the motion of our dear Majority Floor Leader, The motion is therefore approved. The chair proclaims Senator Lauren Legarda as having been elected as Senate President pro tempore. Congratulations. May I ask and request Senator Lauren Legarda and her family to ascend to the rostrum for the oath taking. I ask for a session suspended to allow the family to come up. We can use that already and place that on the records of the Senate with the permission of the body. Thank you. So we may return the mace. Counted. Okay. Since the session is resumed, Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, we'd like to extend our congratulations to our Senate President pro tempore, Senator Lauren Legarda. She wishes to be recognized, Mr. President.
Yes, may we recognize her. And once again, I apologize to my dear colleagues. A bit of oversight. I forgot to start session, but with the permission of the body, we will consider that as already read into the records. May we recognize Senator Lauren Legarda to deliver her acceptance speech.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, excellencies, officers, and staff of the Senate, it is with great honor that I accept the Senate President pro tempore position. I am truly humbled by the support given by my distinguished colleagues to lead this august chamber, which I consider my home for 18 years. Maraming salamat pong muli sa mahigit 24 na milyong Pilipino na nagtiwala at nagbigay sa akin ng pagkakataong muling maglingkod bilang 4-term senator. When I first entered the halls of Congress 24 years ago, I was just a novice in the political arena, hoping to make a change in our country. My exposure to our society's ills as a young journalist led me to take on the role of a public servant, a senator of the Republic, and I have then vowed to work tirelessly to find solutions to our country's problems. That was way back in 1998. I was all of 38 years old then. Today, I stand before you as the most senior senator, having come full circle with 18 years of experience in the Senate and 3 years of experience in the House of Representatives. Indeed, it has been a fulfilling journey, but our sojourn has not yet come to an end. Hindi pa po tapos ang ating trabaho. Over the last 20 years, we have enacted laws, programs, policies. We have forwarded, supported, contributed to advocacies that better our country. From peacekeeping negotiations and humanitarian missions to the pandemic of present day, we have continued to forge on our commitment to assist those who are in need, to the vulnerable, underprivileged, and deprived. Sa ating pagbangon mula sa pandemya, iisa lamang ang ating layunin para sa ating bansa. Magkaroon ng pangmatagalang kapayapaan, wakasan ang kahirapan. Ituloy ang ating mga programa para sa mahihirap at makamit ang pambansang pagbangon at pag-unlad. We have advocated for green development, having authored laws on environmental governance, protection of the environment, conservation of our natural resources. Having traversed the country and learned about our rich cultural heritage, we continue to support projects that promote and showcase the exceptional skills and the world-class products of our indigenous people, our culture bearers. Hindi rin po mawawala sa ating mga layunin ang mga programa sa kalusugan, edukasyon, trabaho at kabuhayan. Ilan lamang po ito sa mga advokasya na sinisiguro natin mapopondohan nung tayo po ay nanilbihan bilang chair ng Senate Committee on Finance at hanggang ngayon. We introduced and sponsored vital amendments in the budget allocation for various sectors to ensure that the national budget sponsored socio-economic services, providing subsidies for free public tertiary education, additional funding for state universities and colleges, free healthcare services in government hospitals, free irrigation services for small farmers, budget for social welfare programs, increased funding to support rural livelihoods, and micro, small, and medium enterprises. The pathway towards pandemic recovery is through the economic empowerment of every Filipino. That means supporting our MSMEs, 99.51% of the country's businesses, and are responsible for an estimated 5.3 million jobs, or 62.66% of the country's employment, bolstering the efficiency of our health sector as part of our vital investments in our human capital by pushing for the full implementation of the Universal Health Care Act. My fellow senators, my dear colleagues, friends, we have a great deal of work ahead of us. It is not a cakewalk. We cannot do this unilaterally. And for this distinct privilege to work for you and to work with you, I am forever grateful. Thank you for this opportunity to serve as your Senate President pro tempore under the leadership of Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri as we steer the 19th Congress towards its objectives. Sa loob ng 21 taon, malawak na po ang naging karanasan natin bilang inyong mababatas sa mataas at mababang kapulungan. Malayo na rin po ang ating narating, ngunit marami pa rin po tayong kailangan gawin. Handa po akong salubungin ng buong puso ang bagong tungkulin na inyong iniatang po sa akin. Umaasa kayo na aking gagampanan ito sa tulong ninyo para sa bawat Pilipino. I stand before you now, excited as I was in 1998, filled with hope, I may be the most senior senator in terms of tenure, not of age. And I look at Senator Amy Marcos now, many of whom call me Tita with fondness, but this Tita stands before you with the same determination to serve you and the Filipino people. Now, more than ever, we have to foster unity and good governance for a free, inclusive, sustainable, and resilient Philippines. Maraming salamat po.
Congratulations to our new Senate President pro tempore, Ma'am Lauren, Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. President, I move now that we proceed with the election of the Chairman of the Committee on Rules.
Please proceed. Is there any objection, Mr. President? Gentlemen, hearing none, the motion is approved.
Mr. President, may I ask that Senator Angara be recognized for the nomination.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Majority Leader, mga ginagalang nakasama. Muli po akong tumatayo, Ginoong Presidente, para ilahad ang aking nominasyon para sa Majority Floor Leader o Chairman ng Committee on Rules sa ika-19 na Kongreso or 19th Congress, ang aking katuwang sa advokasya, sa paglikha ng batas, sa paglaro ng basketball, ang aking kumpadre at malapit na kaibigan, no less than Senator Joel Testament Villanueva. Una pong naging legislador si Senator Villanueva bilang party list representative ng Citizens Battle Against Corruption or CBAC party list. Nagsilbi po siya sa Kamara de Representante mula 2002 hanggang 2010, kung saan naging kasamahan niya ang karamihan ng ating senador ngayong 19th Congress. Si Senator Alan, Senator Cheese, the Senate President, Senator Risa, and myself. Senator Cynthia Villar as well. Sa panahong yon, nagsilbi siyang Minority Leader para sa Commission on Appointments as well as Deputy Minority Floor Leader sa plenaryo. Nagsulong siya ng mga resolusyon para tutukan at maimbestigahan ang iba't ibang aligasyon ng katiwalian na nagaganap di umano sa mga transaksyon ng gobyerno. Naging may akda din siya ng Anti-Red Tape Act of 2007 at ng Freedom of Information Act. After ably serving 3 terms in the House of Representatives, Senator Villanueva was appointed by President Benigno Noynoy Aquino III as Secretary of the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA. With him at the helm, TESDA managed to eliminate irregularities in its regulatory functions, which led to the closure and suspension of several erring training centers across the country. TESDA achieved a zero notice of disallowance from the Commission on Audit, or COA. TESDA earned the nationwide ISO certification, a first among the country's education agencies and second in the entire executive branch. He introduced innovative programs such as the free online programs and mobile training laboratories. He fostered closer industry partnerships which led to higher employability of our TechVoc graduates, among many others. In our opinion, his most important contribution at the time was to raise the profile of TESDA and technical vocational education in the minds of our people. He himself became a certified barista, a skill that may prove to be useful in the new role he is about to occupy in the Senate for those late nights with you, Mr. President. We are hoping TESDA can once again soar to those same heights under him and help our countrymen during these tough times for our people. His performance in TESDA, Mr. President, was so exemplary. It gave him that high national profile to help win a Senate seat in 2016, with the second highest number of votes among all the candidates at 18.4 million votes. And throughout his first term as senator, he was tireless as he chaired the committees on labor, employment, and human resources development, as well as higher technical and vocational education. He authored and co-authored critical pieces of legislation, such as the Doktor para sa Bayan Law, the Tulong Trabaho Law, the First-Time Job Seekers Act, the Ladderized Education or the Philippine Qualifications Framework Act, the Occupational Safety and Health Standards Law, the Telecommuting or Work-from-Home Law, and the Free College Tuition or the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education, UACTEA Act, among many others, especially the creation or upgrading of state universities and colleges, Mr. President. Lagi pong sinasabi ni Senator Joel Villanueva na ang trabaho niya bilang legislador ay tiyaking walang panahong mawawalan ng oportunidad para sa trabaho, kabuhayan at kita ang bawat Pilipino. Sigurado po kami na ipagpapatuloy niya ito sa kanyang pangalawang termino dito sa Senado. Naniniwala po kami na bukod dito, malaki ang maitutulong niya para siguraduhin tumatakbo ng tama ang proseso ng paglilikha ng batas dito sa ating institusyon at mabibigyan ng sapat na pagkakataon ng bawat senador sa mayorya, sa minorya man o sa independent bloc man sila nakahanay. He is a loving husband to Mrs. Gladys Cruz Villanueva and a father to 2 young children. Kaya, Ginoong Presidente, malugod kong inihaharap ang aking nominasyon para sa posisyon ng Majority Floor Leader ng Senado sa darating na Kongreso, ang ating kaibigan at seatmate kay Senator Emmanuel Joel Testaman Villanueva. Maraming salamat po, mga kasamahan, Mr. President.
Maraming salamat, Senator Angara. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, may we recognize Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa for his nomination speech.
Senator De La Rosa, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, my esteemed colleagues, it is my distinct honor to rise today to nominate our distinguished colleague, Senator Joel Tisdaman Villanueva, as the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Rules, also known as BMW, the brother of migrant workers. Mr. President, BMW. Mr. President, Senator Joel has proven to us time and again that he is indeed worthy to be called a public servant in his own right. The hard work of our dear colleague has been constantly recognized beyond these walls of the Senate. In fact, Ortiz Daman has recently been recognized as among 2022's People of the Year by Stargate People Asia Magazine for his contributions to job creation for Filipinos and his campaign for skills training to generate world-class workers in the country. Mr. President, a chairperson of the Committee on Rules is a man who shows up with his untarnished perfect attendance and his consistently notable contributions as a legislator. I can attest that Senator Joel is not only a man who shows up, he is a man who shows up prepared and performs beyond expectation, even during pandemic and his period of mourning, kung saan siya ay nagluluksa sa sunod-sunod na pagkawala ng kanyang mahal sa buhay. Employing Ms. Senator Joel's advocacy of matching jobs and skills, it is indeed a perfect match for Senator Joel to lead the Committee on Rules and be our majority floor leader. He has already proven to us that he is the man. Now he is also the man for the job. I have only one request sa ating nominee. Please, Senator Joel, see to it that my good friend, Senator Francis Tolentino, will no longer complain about the disappearances of his local bills from the calendar of business. That is, yan lang ang kanyang requirement from you. And I therefore nominate Senator Joel Villanueva as chairman of the Committee on Rules for the 19th Congress. Thank you, Mr. President.
Maraming salamat, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa.
Mr. President, I believe that the honor also wants to be recognized for his nomination speech.
Yes, thank you, Majority Floor Leader. And if I may just place this on record, I don't want to leave the opportunity not to nominate my dear seatmate and my partner in the Majority Leader Committee on Rules at the last Congress. It is my pleasure to second the nomination of Senator Joel Villanueva as the chairman of the Committee on Rules for the 19th Congress. Senator Joel has proven himself a capable leader throughout his public service career, holding key roles as Deputy Minority Leader in the 13th Congress and Minority Leader of the Commission on Appointments while he was in the House, before serving as the Great Secretary of TESTA, during which time he emerged as an effective and innovative leader whose work has left a big impact on our country's tech vox sector, as lovingly declared by Ralph Recto in one rally that we were together in 2016 after Senator Joel Villanueva lengthily mentioned all the distinguished programs that he had placed in TESDA. Sabi po ni Senator Ralph Recto, napakagaling ni TESDA man, dapat ibalik sa TESDA si TESDA man. Pero nangyari po, nilulok ng taong bayan si Senator Joel Villanueva sa Senado. And ladies and gentlemen, we are richer for it. My dear colleagues, in the last two Congresses, he has not only been a reliable, hardworking, and passionate senator. As I mentioned, he readily and capably taken over the duties of Majority Leader whenever needed. With his experience and knowledge and his passion, I know that Senator Joel Testaman Villanueva will serve this august chamber well. We will be behind you, sir. We will support you every step of the way. It is my honor to nominate him as the next chairman of the Committee on Rules.
Mr. President, there being no other nominations, I move that we close the period of nomination and elect Senator Joel Villanueva as the chairman of the Committee on Rules.
Is there any objection? The chair hearing none, the motion is approved. There being no other candidate, the chair proclaims Senator Joel Villanueva as having been elected as the chairman of the Committee on Rules. Under the rules of the Senate, he is now our majority floor leader. Congratulations, sir. May I request Senator Villanueva and his family to ascend to the rostrum for the oath-taking. Session is
Ginoong
suspended
Pangulo.
for... yes, Mr. President. May we recognize Senator Robin Hood Padilla.
Ginoong Pangulo at sa mga kasamahan ko at sa lupon ng pagpupulong na ito, nais ko lamang pong maging opisyal sa lathaan ng Senado na ako po ay umiiwas sa pagboto sa majority floor leader. Maraming salamat po.
That is placed on record. So may we now suspend session so that Senator Villanueva can come to the podium. We'll now proceed to the oath of office for the majority leader. Please raise your hand and repeat after me. I, state your name,
Manuel Joel J. Villanueva,
having been elected as,
having been elected as chairman of the Committee on Rules,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the duties of my present position,
the duties of my present position,
and of all others I may hereafter hold,
and of all others I may hereafter hold,
under the Republic of the Philippines,
under the Republic of the Philippines,
and that I will support
that I will support
and defend the Constitution of the Philippines,
and defend the Constitution of the Philippines,
that I will obey the laws,
that I will obey the laws,
the legal orders,
the legal orders,
and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
and maintain true faith and allegiance to the Republic,
and maintain true faith and allegiance to the Republic
of the
to
Philippines,
the Republic of the Philippines,
and that I impose this obligation
and that I impose this obligation
upon myself voluntarily,
without mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations,
Thank
sir.
you.
May we now proceed with the election of the Secretary of the Senate. Majority Leader. Oh.
Mr. President, May I be recognized?
Yes,
Thank
Majority
you.
Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. The distinguished lady from Akbayan wishes to be recognized. May she be recognized, Mr. President?
May we recognize the distinguished lady, Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Salamat kaayo, Mr. President. It is my honor on the part of the minority to officially make it of record our designation of Senator Aquilino Coco Pimentel III as Minority Leader. Senator Pimentel, Mr. President, who is a friend of long-standing since our college days in the historic early to late 1980s, a veteran lawmaker, a former Senate President, no less, and I'm sure will make an excellent minority leader. Just like his father, the late great Senator Kanene Pimentel, who once served this august hall as Senate President, then as minority leader. I am certain that like his father, and by the way, Mr. President, they will be for the first time the father and son tandem who would have served both as SP and as minority leader. I am certain that Senator Pimentel will help maintain the independence of the Philippine Senate, an institution crucial to our democracy, an institution we all hold dear. Dagan salamat, Mr. President, for the record.
Thank you very much, distinguished lady Senator. And for the record, I am happy that our dear colleague from Cagayan de Oro, May Silingan, was nominated and unchallenged as the minority floor leader. And just to go full circle, ladies and gentlemen, I was the majority leader then when your father was the minority leader. So now I have the honor to work with the son as well. May we recognize Senator.
Just for the record, Mr.
Pimentel.
President, I accept the challenge and I thank Senator Ontiveros for the nomination. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We acknowledge the manifestation of Senator Ontiveros and we put that on record. Thank you very much. May we proceed, Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. President, may I just be allowed to make a very, very short manifestation, Mr. President?
Yes, we recognize the Majority Leader for his acceptance speech.
Thank you, Mr. President. I give all the glory, honor, and praise to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Nakakataba po ng puso, Ginoong Pangulo, nakaka-humble, nakaka-inspire ang mga sandaling ito. Hayaan nyo, Mr. President, na sa ilang segundo, pasalamatan ko ang aking mga colleagues. Bumoto man sa akin o hindi, maraming salamat, especially to our Senate President, Senator Mig Subiri, for your trust and confidence. To Senator Angara and Senator Bato for the nomination. Really appreciate it. In Luke chapter 12, verse 48, it says, "To whom much is given, much is required." I know, Mr. President, that more than a rank, title, or position, I am now receiving a great responsibility. This responsibility is about taking care of this beloved institution, the People's Senate. My predecessor, Senator Zubiri, has so raised the bar for this office, and keeping up with will be a constant challenge, but we are ready to learn and to listen. We will burn the midnight oil to live up to the responsibilities. We will not sleep or rest until we finish our job. Kung kailangang magtrabaho na trabahong kalabaw o magpakakuba po tayo, nakahanda po tayo kasama ang lahat ng ating staff sa opisina. I've been a point guard in basketball, Mr. President, all my life, and I know that success in any human endeavor requires effort and teamwork. Communication is not only essential but critical in a team. We will ensure that nothing stands in the way of good communication and coordination between our offices. While I consider myself a rookie in this new role, we are not a tabula rasa or a blank slate. We have been with the Rules Committee for a very long time. When I was the Benjamin of the House in 12th Congress, I was elected Assistant Majority Floor Leader along with our Senior Majority Floor Leader, Senator Chis Escudero, and Deputy Majority Leader, then Senator Alan Cayetano. Mr. President, when Senator Chis became our Minority Leader, I was one of his deputy minority leader, and I must say that I lavishly benefited from the guidance of Senator Chi, Senator Alan, especially on how to make the rules serve the best interests of our people. I know that we stand on the shoulders of giants in our attempt to make a difference. And let me say that the past 6 years were worth more than a doctorate degree because of the mentoring we received from the living legends and the gurus of this institution. To name a few, si former Senate President Tito Soto, Senator Ralph Recto, Senator Frank Drilon, Senator Ping Lacson, among others. I also would like to take this opportunity in closing, Mr. President, to thank my family, my brother, my sister, my dad, Brother Eddie, and most especially, my mom and sister, whom I know are watching me right now, for demanding that I always do my best. To honor their memories, I pledge every bit of energy in my body, mind, and spirit to give justice to this responsibility you entrusted to me, dear colleagues. To my wife, Gladys, who is here today with us, this role is going to take effort, and I have to admit, extra effort, Labs. Ngayon pa lang ay nagpapasalamat na po ako sa kanya dahil sa hirap at ginhawa, lagi ko siyang kasama, and I love her and I will always will. In closing, Mr. President, let me say that God bless my life with opportunities. He makes my cup overflow. To praise, honor, and glorify Him forever is the only desire of this representation. Iaalay po natin ang bawat segundo, bawat minuto, at bawat oras ng trabaho natin dito sa Senado upang maparangalan, mapurihan, at madakila at ang dakilang pangalan ng ating Panginoong Diyos. Kaya mga kasama, tara, trabaho na tayo. Maraming salamat, Ginoong Pangulo, at pagpalain tayong lahat ng ating Panginoong Diyos.
Maraming salamat and congratulations to our dear Majority Floor Leader. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, at this juncture, I move that we proceed with the election of the Secretary of the Senate. So moved, Mr. President.
There being no objection, the Chair hears none. The motion is approved. We will now proceed with the election of the Secretary of the Senate.
Mr. President, for the position of the Secretary of the Senate, may I nominate Attorney Renato N. Bantug Jr. Attorney Bantug has been with the Senate for 27 years. He has been our Executive Director for Legislation since 2004. He also served as Acting Senate Legal Counsel in 2010 and was the Chief of Staff of the Office of the Senate President from 2013 to 2016. Again, Mr. President, I nominate Attorney Renato Bantug Jr. as Secretary of the Senate.
There are no other nominations. Is there any other nominations? May we ask the lady Senator, Senator Vida, to deliver her motion.
Salamat kaayo, Mr. President. In perhaps a first exercise of the bipartisanship from the part of the minority, I am honored and happy to second the nomination of Attorney Ray Bantug as the Senate Secretary. Attorney Bantug, who has served for over 24 years here in the Senate, including with great honor and excellence in the former Senate minority in the previous Congress, and whom I am sure will be a worthy lieutenant to the Senate President and the whole leadership of our chamber in upholding the independence of our institution and making sure that we remain as productive as ever in complete faithfulness to the rules of the Senate. Salamat kaayo, Mr. President.
Daghan kay salamat, ma'am. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, there being no other nominations, I move that the period of nomination be closed and that we elect Attorney Renato N. Bantug Jr. as Secretary of the Senate. So moved, Mr. President.
There being no objection, the motion is approved. Attorney Renato Bantug Jr. is elected Secretary of the Senate. Congratulations, sir. May I ask Attorney Bantug and his family to ascend to the rostrum for the oath-taking while we take a 1-minute suspension.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now proceed with the oath taking of the Senate Secretary. May we ask the Senate Secretary to raise his right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Renato N. Bantug Jr.,
Having been elected as,
having been elected Secretary of the Senate,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the duties of my present position,
the duties of my present position,
and of all others I may hereafter hold,
and of all others I may hereafter hold,
under the Republic of the Philippines.
under the Republic of the Philippines,
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines,
That I will obey the laws and legal orders
that I will obey the laws and legal orders
and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
and maintain true faith
and maintain true faith
and allegiance to the Republic of the Philippines.
and allegiance to the Republic of the Philippines,
And that I impose this obligation
and that I impose this obligation
upon myself voluntarily,
voluntarily,
without mental reservation
without mental
or
reservation
purpose of
or
evasion.
purpose of evasion.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations,
Thank you, sir.
Secretary. Yes. Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, at this juncture, I move that we now consider proposed Senate Resolution number 1.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved. Consideration of proposed Senate Resolution 1 is now in order. The Secretary will read the title and text of the resolution.
Proposed Senate Resolution Number 1, informing His Excellency, the President of the Philippines, that the Senate has been organized with the election of its officers, and that this body has entered upon the exercise of its functions for the first regular session of the 19th Congress of the Philippines. Resolved by the Senate that His Excellency, the President of the Philippines, be informed that the Senate has been organized with the election of its officers, and that this body has entered upon the exercise of its functions for the first regular session of the 19th Congress of the Philippines. Adopted, Joel Villanueva, Senator.
Mr. President, with the consent of the body, Mr. President, I move that we adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 1. So move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Mr. President, at this juncture, I move that we consider proposed Senate Resolution number 2. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved. Consideration of the proposed Senate Resolution number 2 is now in order. The Secretary will read the title and text of the resolution.
Proposed Senate Resolution Number 2, informing the House of Representatives that the Senate has been organized with the election of its officers, and that this body has entered upon the exercise of its functions for the first regular session of the 19th Congress of the Philippines. Resolved by the Senate that the House of Representatives be informed that the Senate has been organized with the election of its officers, and that the body has entered upon the exercise of its functions for the first regular session of the 19th Congress of the Philippines. Adopted, signed, Joel Villanueva, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 2. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? The Chair hearing none, the motion is approved. Please proceed.
Mr. President, at this juncture, we are in a receipt of a message from the House of Representatives. May I ask the Secretary to read the message for the record?
I believe the Senate Secretary just relayed to me that the message has not yet arrived, so we can skip this portion, Your Honor. Let's proceed with the adoption of House Concurrent Resolution.
Therefore, Mr. President, I move that we adopt House Concurrent Resolution number 1. I so move, Mr. President.
The Chair, is there any objection? Chair hearing none, the motion is approved. Consideration of House Concurrent Resolution number 1 is now in order. The Secretary will read the resolution.
House Concurrent Resolution Number 1, providing for the Senate and the House of Representatives to hold a joint session to hear the message of the President of the Republic of the Philippines. Resolved by the House of Representatives, the Senate concurring, that both houses of Congress of the Republic of the Philippines hold a joint session on Monday, July 25, year 2022, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon at the session hall of the House of Representatives
to hear the message of the President of the Republic of the Philippines, adopted, signed, Manuel Jose Manix M. Dalipi, Representative.
Mr. President, I move that we consider Senate Concurrent Resolution number 1. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, House Concurrent Resolution number 1 is hereby adopted. Please proceed, Majority.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt Senate Resolution number 1. So move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved. Consideration of the proposed Senate Concurrent Resolution number 1 is now in order. The Secretary will read the title and text of the measure.
Senate Concurrent Resolution number 1, creating a joint committee of the Senate and the House of Representatives to notify the President of the Philippines that Congress, now convened for its first regular session of the 19th Congress of the Philippines, is ready to hear his State of the Nation address in a joint session of both houses. Resolved by the Senate, the House of Representatives concurring that a committee of 5 members of the Senate, appointed by the Senate President, join a committee of the House of Representatives to notify the President of the Philippines that Congress, now convened for its first regular session of the 19th Congress of the Philippines, is ready to hear his State of the Nation address in a joint session of both houses. Adopted, signed, Joel Villanueva, Senator.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt Senate Concurrent Resolution number 1. I so move, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, my dear colleague. But before we adopt it, I would like to amend it to 6 members, as 1 member would wish to join the 5-member delegation. If there being no objection, Senate Concurrent Resolution number 1 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Pursuant thereto, to join the Senate President, I hereby appoint to the Joint Notification Committee on the part of the Senate, Senators Joel Villanueva, Senator Loren Legarda, Senator Aimee Marcos, Senator Jinggoy Ejercito Estrada, and Senator Francis Tolentino.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, before we suspend our session, may I just remind our colleagues to remain in the session hall for a photo session. Also, for our colleagues who have not been able to have their individual photographs taken, they may wish to do so until 1 o'clock in the afternoon at the Padilla Room. Mr. President, there being no further business, I move that we suspend the session until 4 o'clock this afternoon, at which time we shall reconvene at the session hall of the House of Representatives to hear the State of the Nation address of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. in a joint session of both houses of Congress. And when we adjourn the joint session, the session of the Senate shall be considered adjourned until tomorrow, July 26, 2022, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I so move, Mr. President.
There being no objection, the Chair hears none, and before I suspend session, I once again want to thank all my colleagues, my dear colleagues. Maraming salamat sa inyo po. To all the guests, maraming salamat. Now the motion is approved. Session is suspended until 4 o'clock this afternoon for the joint session of Congress. The members of the Senate are advised to proceed to and be seated at the session hall of the House of Representatives by or before 3 p.m. After the joint session, the session of the Senate shall be considered adjourned until tomorrow, July 26, 2022 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The session is now suspended until 4 o'clock this afternoon.